Imagine two people, same city, same job, same salary. 5 years later, one of them has a growing savings account, zero credit card debt, and just put a down payment on a small apartment. The other one is stressed, living paycheck to paycheck, and genuinely cannot figure out where all the money went. Same income. Completely different financial lives. And here's the part that gets most people: the difference wasn't a side hustle. It wasn't crypto. It wasn't some secret investment strategy they found online at 2 a.m. The difference was something far more boring and far more powerful. It was the rules they followed without thinking. See, most people treat money like a feeling. They spend when they're happy. They save when they're scared. They invest when everyone else is talking about it. Their financial decisions are emotional, inconsistent, and reactive. But the people who quietly build stable financial lives, they don't think about money that much, because they've built a small set of rules that make the decisions for them. Today we're going to walk through those rules. Not 20 of them. Not a complicated system. Just the minimalist money rules that, if you actually follow them, will keep you financially stable no matter what life throws at you. Here's the trap most people fall into. They consume a lot of financial content. They watch videos, read articles, follow people on social media who talk about money. And slowly, they start to believe that being good with money requires being constantly active, constantly optimizing, constantly finding the next thing. They hear about index funds one week, then real estate the next, then dividend stocks, then starting a business, then cutting every subscription they own. And instead of clarity, they get paralysis. This is what psychologists call decision fatigue. The more choices you have to make, the worse your decisions become over time. Your brain gets tired of choosing. And when it gets tired, it defaults to whatever feels easiest in the moment, which is almost always spending. This is why people who understand money don't try to make perfect decisions every day. They design simple rules in advance so their future self doesn't have to think. They reduce the number of decisions. They automate the boring stuff. And they focus their energy on a small number of principles that actually move the needle. That's the minimalist approach to money. And it works because it works with your psychology, not against it. Let's get into the rules. Rule 1: spend less than you earn. Always. No exceptions. This sounds so obvious that people skip past it. But this is the foundation of everything. Without this, nothing else works. No investment strategy, no side income, no financial advice in the world can save you if you consistently spend more than you make. Think of your finances like a bathtub. Money flows in from the tap, that's your income. Money flows out through the drain, that's your spending. If the drain is open wider than the tap, the bathtub empties. Doesn't matter how much water you pour in, it will always empty. Most people try to solve financial problems by adding more water, getting a raise, finding extra income. But they never look at the drain, and the drain is quietly open. The rule is simple. Every single month, the number going out must be smaller than the number coming in. The gap between those two numbers. That's your power. That's where wealth actually gets built. Rule 2: pay yourself first. Here's how most people manage money. They get paid. They pay rent. They pay bills. They buy groceries. They go out a few times. They buy some things they probably didn't need. And at the end of the month, if anything's left over, they save it. The problem? There's almost never anything left over, because lifestyle has a way of expanding to fill whatever space you give it. The fix is to flip the order. The moment money comes in, a portion of it leaves immediately into savings or investments. Before you pay anyone else, you pay yourself. Then you live on whatever is left. This is one of the oldest ideas in personal finance. And it works because it removes the decision entirely. You don't have to summon willpower at the end of the month. The money is already gone before you had the chance to spend it. Even if you start with 10%, the habit is more important than the amount. You are training yourself to live on less than you earn, automatically, every single month. Rule 3: build a boring emergency fund before anything else. People want to skip this step. They want to jump straight to investing. They want their money to grow, and an emergency fund sitting in a savings account doing almost nothing feels like a waste. But here's what that emergency fund actually is. It's insurance against your entire financial plan falling apart. Life is unpredictable. Your car breaks down. You lose your job. A medical bill shows up. And without that cushion, where do you go? Credit cards. Loans. You borrow money at high interest rates to survive an emergency. And then you spend the next year or two paying that back with interest. The emergency fund breaks that cycle. It means when life hits, and it will hit, you don't have to go backwards. You just use the fund, rebuild it, and keep going. The target is 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. Not your full lifestyle, just the basics. Rent, food, utilities, transport. That number is your target. Keep it somewhere safe and accessible. And don't touch it unless it's actually an emergency. Rule 4. Get out of high interest debt as fast as humanly possible. Debt is the only thing that actively works against you while you sleep. When you have credit card debt at 20% interest, you are losing 20% of whatever you owe every single year. Think about that. If you had $10,000 sitting in credit card debt, you're paying $2,000 a year just to stand still. You haven't bought anything new. You haven't gone anywhere. You're just paying for the privilege of having borrowed that money. No investment reliably returns 20%. Which means until you clear that debt, investing is mathematically backwards. You'd be earning 8 or 10% in one place, while losing 20% in another. Paying off high-interest debt is the highest return, guaranteed investment you can make. Treat it like an emergency. Attack it aggressively. Make it the mission until it's gone. Now here's the deeper thing most financial content doesn't talk about. The reason these rules are hard to follow isn't math. The math is simple. The reason they're hard is psychology. We are wired to prioritize now over later. Every time. This is called hyperbolic discounting, and it's baked into how human brains work. A reward today feels more valuable than the same reward next year. Even if logically we know the future matters just as much. This is why you can completely understand that saving money is important and still find yourself at the end of the month with nothing saved. Your logical brain knew the right answer, but your emotional brain made the decisions. And this is also why minimalist rules work better than complex strategies. When the rule is simple and automatic, you don't give your emotional brain a chance to negotiate. The money moves before you feel it. The decision is already made. There's nothing to override. There's another psychological principle at play here called lifestyle creep. As people earn more, they spend more. The raise comes in, and somehow life just gets more expensive. New subscriptions, nicer dinners, better clothes, a bigger apartment. It doesn't feel like excess. It feels like progress. But if your savings rate stays the same as your income grows, you're not getting ahead. You're just spending more. The minimalist approach says when income goes up, let savings go up first. Let your lifestyle expand slowly and intentionally, not automatically. The goal is not to suffer. The goal is to be deliberate, to make choices about where your money goes instead of wondering where it went. Here's what you actually do with all of this. Start by looking at one number. Take what you earned last month and subtract what you spent. If that number is positive, you're building. If it's negative or zero, the drain is open too wide and everything else is just noise until you fix it. Then automate the solution. Set up an automatic transfer on the day you get paid. A percentage goes straight into savings or investments before it touches your regular account. Make the number uncomfortable but not impossible. 15% is a good target if you can swing it. 10% if you're just starting. Even 5% is a real start. Build your emergency fund first. Pick a number. 3 months of essentials. If you have high interest debt, add eliminating it to your list of immediate priorities alongside the emergency fund. Once it's gone, redirect that payment to wealth building. And then protect your lifestyle from inflating every time your income does. When you get a raise, increase your savings rate before you increase your spending. Even a 50-50 split half to lifestyle, half to savings puts you miles ahead of where most people will ever be. None of this is complicated. That's the whole point. Financial stability is not the result of being a genius with money. It's the result of doing a small number of simple things consistently over a long period of time. There's a funny thing about minimalist money rules. When you first hear them, they seem too simple. Like there must be something more. Some secret. Some strategy you're missing. Surely building financial stability can't just be spend less than you earn. Save first. Build a cushion, kill the debt. But then you actually try it, and you realize simple is hard. Not because the steps are difficult, because doing boring things consistently, while the world is constantly trying to sell you something new, takes real discipline. The people who are quietly, steadily building wealth are not doing extraordinary things. They are doing ordinary things extraordinarily consistently. They have rules. The rules remove the decisions. And the decisions that don't get made are the ones that derail most people. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a simple plan that you will actually follow. Start with one rule. Just one. The one that feels most relevant to where you are right now. Build the habit. Then layer the next one. Financial stability isn't a destination you arrive at suddenly. It's a direction you choose every month. And it starts with the next decision you make.